This video is to help students to prepare for homework of chapter 5 and chapter 6. Let's start from question 1. Question number 1. The Thailand company is considering the purchase of some new equipment. The quote consists of a quarterly payment of $4,740 for 10 years at 6.5% interest. What is the purchase price of this equipment? The question is asking for the purchase price of the equipment. So it's asking for the present value. The company is making $4,740 back to the credit card company. So that's the payment. It's a 10-year loan. And the company is making 4 payments a year back to the credit card company. So the number of payments should be 10 multiplied by 4. And the interest paid for this loan is 6.5%, but divided by 4 because this is a quarterly payment. So let me write down the inputs. Rate is 6.5% divided by 4. N is 10 multiplied by 4. Payment is 4,740. Quarterly payment. Present value is a question mark. The future value here. Future value is about the balance in your account by the end of this loan. Since after 10 years, 40 payments, the loan is all paid off. So the future value or the account value should be 0. Okay, so those are the inputs. By now, you should be familiar with the Excel functions of time value of money already. Let me just write down the equation, and then we will copy to the Excel to see how much is it. So the equation should be ABS. We add ABS in the front because time value of money for cash flows, the negative sign is not about the debt you owe to somebody. It's only related to the directions of the cash flows. So if you don't add the ABS in the front, you will get the negative number for the money, which is confusing. So let's just add the ABS in the front to get the absolute value. ABS is just to get everything positive. So let's do that. ABS, and we use the PV function in Excel. The input, the first input should be the rate. So it's 6.5% over 4. This is the quarterly rate. How many quarters? 10 times 4. How much is the quarterly payment? 4,740. And the next input should be the future value, which is 0 here. This is our inputs. If we copied it to Excel and see what's happening. Okay. Okay, let me retype it here in Excel. So it equals to ABS PV 6.5% over 4. 4 times 10. Okay, so this is the answer. You can also find the answer in the PowerPoint. So this is you can see the inputs here, and this is the answer. So this is how you worked out the problems of time value of money. So there are only 5 inputs. So you read the question, and first you should know the question is asking for which one of the 5 variables. And the next thing you should do just to figure out the inputs for each of the rest of the 4 variables. And you can go to Excel. You can type the equation directly here like I did, or what you can do is you can go to formula, go to financial, and since this is asking for present value, so you look for PV function, and see those are the inputs. So you just type in the numbers for each inputs, 6.5% divided by 4, and 10 multiplied by 4, we'll put 40 directly. Payment 4,740. Future value 0 here. Type is the payment is made by the end of the period or at the beginning of the period. So since we just assume everybody make the payment by the end of each period, so you can just leave it or put 0 there. 0 is the default setting. Okay, and click OK, and you see you get the same answer, but however you see there is a negative number. That's why we add ABS in the front, so that all the output, all the answer will be positive number. But if we don't use ABS here, that's negative number. It doesn't mean you owe anybody. It's just like you borrow the money of that much at the beginning, and then later on you make payment of $4,740, and that's the direction, cash flow direction of you paying somebody. But at the beginning, you're getting the money from somebody. That's why the directions of the cash flow are opposite to 4,740. So that's why the signs for the present value is negative. So the negative sign for cash flow is only because of the directions of the cash flow. It's opposite to the other one you defined as positive. In our case, paying somebody, we defined it as positive direction. So when you get the money from somebody, so the directions of that is opposite. So you add the negative sign. So that's why it's negative. So this is the way to do that using Excel. Okay, so this is question number 1. Let's do question number 2. The inputs are how much for this question? Okay, so for this question, you want to buy a condo for $249,500. You make 20% as a down payment, and for the rest of the loan, you want to pay that off in 10 years at 6.75%. Okay, how much is your monthly mortgage payment? Okay, so this kind of questions we are familiar with, right? So we should know like how much is the total amount we borrowed for this condo. So since the house cost is $249,500, but we only borrowed 80% of that. We made 20% of the down payment for this condo. So how much is the loan we get? So it's 80%. 249, 80%. This is our loan. And how long is this loan? This is a 10-year. But we make monthly payment. So we make how many payment in the 10-year period? So that's 10 multiplied by 12, which is 120 payment. How much is the interest rate charged on this account? For each year, the interest rate is 6.75%. But since we're making monthly payment, so for each month, the interest rate should be 6.75% divided by 12. This is the rate. How much is the monthly payment? That's the question. And how much is the future value? Since, again, just like the previous question, since we know this account will be cleared off, so the future value should be 0. It's 0 balance in this account in the end. So these are the inputs, and which command in Excel you should use. PMT is the command. Let's give it a try here. So again, since this is about cash flow, so we should add ABS in the front, so we can get positive numbers always. So the input should be interest rate divided by 12.75. 10 times 12. And these are the inputs. We can copy it to Excel and let's see how much we get. It should be $2,291.89. Is that how much you get? Let's see. Yeah, that's right. Or you can also go to financial. The command is PMT. Find the PMT command. Okay, so the rate is 6.75% divided by 12. Don't put 6.75%. It has to be monthly interest rate. So this is 20. This is a 10-year loan, so it should be 10 multiplied by 12. Don't put 10 here. It's 120. PV is how much you borrowed. So it should be, this is your amount you borrowed. Okay. Future value is 0. Again, we can ignore type because we assume the payment will be done by the end of each month. So click OK. So you see it's the same answer, but it's just negative. Again, don't be bothered by the sign. You can add ABS in the front to get rid of the sign. So it's not a big problem. Okay, so this is this question. So let's move on to the next one. Question number 3. So far, and you have some experience. So there are 5 inputs. Read the question and figure out what is the question is asking about and figure out the rest. And that's all. So let's try this one. And today you're purchasing a 15-year 8% annuity at a cost of $70,000. So $70,000 is how much you paid today. The annuity will pay annual payments. What is the amount of each payment? So you put down $70,000 now, and it's annual payment. So it's not monthly, it's not quarterly. So it's a 15-year 8% annuity. So the N should be 15, rate should be 8%. You don't have to divide it by anything because this is annual payment. The payment is the question. What is the amount of each payment you're receiving for this annuity? That you put down $70,000 today. So this is PV. And you withdraw a fixed amount every year for 15 years. In the end, this account should have no value. So future value should be 0. So again, we should use PMT function. So ABS PMT as a function. And the first input should be rate 15. And the next input should be the present value. You can put 70,000, future value put 0. So it won't be a problem here for the sign since we add the ABS here. 70,000 is how much you put down today. And then the PMT is how much you take from this, you withdraw. You will be paid back from this account. So you see the directions of the cash flow will be negative. Will be opposite. So if you don't put ABS here, since the money you put down is defined as the positive sign, so when you take the money out, and the cash flow directions will be opposite, and the answer will be showing you a negative number. But if you add ABS in the front, it won't be any problems. So again, we can copy and go to Excel. So it is the same answer. So this is this one. Of course, you can also go to formulas, financial, look for PMT function. You can use, you can get it directly from Excel that way. So this is this question. There's another easy way to work out these problems. You can also use the math equations, but however, for annuity questions, using math equations, the equations is pretty complicated. You can go to my website, jufinance.com, and you see there's one under the calculator, and there's one called time value of money. So if you click on this one, so it's from another person's website, and I copied it to here for the convenience. Okay, so how to use this calculator? You just type in the inputs for 4 variables, and then for the one like you're trying to calculate, you just click the button. Okay, so in our case, so it's 8%, 15 years. So it's 8%, 15 years. Period is how many years or how many months here. So it's 15 years. 8% is annual interest rate. Okay, so PV is 70,000. The future value is 0 here. If you're not so familiar with the inputs here, read the explanations under this calculator. Now, since we left payment blank here, so we can click on it. Yeah, see, it's showing us the results. Even though it has a negative number, negative sign in the front, don't be bothered by that. The answer to this question should be $8,178.07. So you see, use this calculator, it's very convenient. If you don't know PMT, you click on PMT. If you don't know PV, for example, you click on PV here. Or, for example, you don't know the rate, you click on the rate. So this is about this question. Okay, this is question number 3. Let's just stop here for the first video, and we'll continue for the rest of the questions of this homework.